Have you ever wondered why some people can charge $10,000 for a product while others struggle to sell the same exact product for only $100? It all comes down to one thing, and that's trust. I've worked with well over 2,000 different entrepreneurs and some of the biggest names in this business, and I was able to see firsthand how authority and credibility influence a person's buying decisions. The real reason is that you're missing a few key credibility signals that billion-dollar brands and industry leaders use to trust people almost instantly. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why most people don't trust you and the 3 trust triggers you need to start using inside of your business immediately. And stick around until the end because I'll be sharing an exact framework that helped just one of my clients triple their prices in almost 60 days without losing a single customer. So before we just jump right into solutions, let's get real about why trust is such a huge issue for businesses today. And I want you to think about it. We live in a world anymore where anyone with a laptop in a few hours are able to just throw together a professional looking website and declare themselves an expert. So the days of actually needing like a physical store or expensive credentials to seem legitimate are completely long gone. Now the digital playing field is wide open, which is great for innovation, but it creates a real challenge for consumers trying to figure out who is the real deal. So here's something that might hit home for you. Over 81% of people say that they need to trust a brand before they even open their wallet, and over 30% actually trust the brands that they buy from. This gap is literally costing you money every single day. And let's be honest, we've all been there. We all remember those sales conversations that seem to be going completely perfect until the prospect just suddenly disappeared, or all of those website visitors who just browse around but never actually reach out. Most of the time, it's not that they don't need what you're offering, it's that they're sitting there thinking, can I really trust this person with my money or with my problem? Without enough trust, they'll always choose the safe option, which is often to usually do nothing at all. So why is trust so hard to build in today's market? There's 3 major factors that are working against you right now. First is information overload. Your potential clients are drowning in the sea of marketing messages. We are talking over 5,000 messages hitting them every single day. Every scroll through Instagram or website visit or every podcast ad break, it's just an endless parade of people raising their hands saying, hey, I've got what you need, and it's exhausting for them, and it's the environment you're trying to stand out in with your business. But second, the market is completely saturated with fake experts and overnight gurus. I mean, we've all seen these people. I'm not going to name any names, but the people who took one course and suddenly positioned themselves as the world's leading authority. They make outrageous claims, they promise overnight results, and they just often just fail to deliver over and over again. And here's the brutal truth. Even if you're legitimate, you're just guilty by association in the minds of your prospects because they've been burned before, and they're just assuming that you're like everyone else until you prove them otherwise. And that leads to the third factor. Your prospects have likely been burned by someone making similar promises to yours. They've invested their money, their time, and their hope into solutions that didn't deliver. And now they're just twice as hesitant to ever trust anybody else ever again, including you, which is why simply being good at what you do isn't enough anymore. You have to actively overcome this trust deficit before anyone will ever give you a chance to prove your value. Now, I want you to take a second and think about the last major purchase that you've made. Did you just pull out your credit card on the spot? Of course you did not. You probably checked out some reviews. You probably texted a friend asking, hey, have you tried this before? Or maybe you fell down a Google rabbit hole comparing other options. We all do it. Literally, none of us want to actually be the sucker who just trusted people too quickly. We want reassurance that we're actually making a right and a smart decision with our hard-earned cash. And the higher the price point, the more validation we need. It's not irrational, it's just how humans are hardwired. And this is why I've developed what I call the 3 trust triggers. These same strategies that I've used my clients go from struggling to sell a $100 product to confidently charging over $10,000 or more for their expertise. And the best part, you can implement these starting today regardless of where you are at in your business journey. These trust triggers work because they tap into the fundamental psychology of how humans decide who to trust. They're not manipulative tactics or cheap marketing tricks. They're strategic ways to demonstrate your genuine expertise and reliability to people who don't know you yet. Think of them as shortcuts that help potential clients recognize your value much faster than they would otherwise. So before I reveal these these trust triggers, I want to emphasize something that's very important. These will only work if you actually deliver value. No amount of positioning can compensate a subpar product or a service, but assuming you're good at what you do, these triggers will help you command the prices you deserve and attract clients who value your expertise. Trust trigger number 1 is what I call visible credibility. This is about strategically exhibiting your expertise and accomplishments in ways that matter to your specific audience. They either hide their achievements out of modesty or they brag in ways that just turn people off. Let me show you what I mean. Many entrepreneurs do one of two things. They either completely downplay their expertise, saying things like, hey, I'm just passionate about helping people, or mentioning that they have specific qualifications, or they just lead with irrelevant credentials that don't actually solve any of their clients' problems, right? So the key is to showcase credentials that actually matter to your audience. For instance, if you're helping business owners boost their profit margins, they don't give a hoot about your fancy degree hanging on the wall, or what they care about is whether you've actually delivered results for businesses like theirs. Sure, your MBA might have taught you some theories, but have you actually rolled up your sleeves and helped companies put more money in the bank? This is what builds trust, which potential clients want to know. Let me show you the difference of instead saying I am certified as a digital marketer, say I've helped 47 small businesses double their conversion rates in less than 90 days. Instead of saying, hey, I've been a consultant for 15 years, try, hey, I've developed a methodology that has generated over $12 million in additional revenue for businesses in your industry. You see how the second version in each case focuses on the result that your potential clients actually care about. Another aspect of visible credibility is how you present yourself visually. Your website, your social media, the quality of your content, all of these send subtle but powerful signals about your professionalism and your attention to detail. This doesn't actually mean you need to spend a fortune on design, but it does mean being intentional about the visual impression that you make. And here is your visible credibility checklist. First, I want you to audit all of your online profiles and your materials. Are you actually clearly communicating your specific expertise and your results? If someone just spent 30 seconds on your website or your social media, would they immediately understand what problems you solve and for whom? Anymore in 2025, people's attention spans have completely plummeted, so it's important we get this even less than 30. Second, I want you to reframe your background in terms of clients' outcomes. Don't just list what you did, highlight the results you achieved. Numbers are particularly powerful here. Quantify the impact whenever possible. And third, I want you to gather and organize evidence of your expertise. This includes case studies, clients' results, proprietary methodologies, and any specialized knowledge that you've developed. It doesn't need to be formal research. It could be insights that you've gained from working with clients that you can articulate in a unique way. And finally, remove anything that dilutes your expertise. Many entrepreneurs try to appeal to everyone by listing multiple unrelated services, and this actually weakens your perceived authority rather than strengthening it. It's like saying the riches are in the niches. You don't want to be seen as the definitive expert in a specific area, not a jack of all trades, a master of none. I recently worked with a client who was struggling to sell their $500 coaching package, and when we looked at their messaging, we found she was calling herself a life coach who helps people with their career, relationships, and wellness. We instead narrowed her focus to career transition coach for healthcare professionals looking to move into administrative roles, a specialty where she had tons of real-world experience. Within 2 months, she raised her prices to $2,000 and filled her practice with all of her ideal clients. That leads me into number 2 is trust trigger number 2. Authority positioning. This is about leveraging third-party platforms to validate your expertise. Think about it. We all trust what others say about us more than what we say about ourselves. When someone else stands up for your expertise, it carries much more weight than anything you could possibly claim on your own. Authority positioning works because of a physiological principle called borrowed credibility. When a respected platform features you, they are basically sharing some of their hard-earned cash and their trust with you. Their audience thinks if this trustworthy source is putting this person in the spotlight, they must be someone that I should listen to. This includes getting featured in major media outlets, being a guest speaker on podcasts, or publishing articles, speaking at events, or even building your own content platform. When we see others recognizing you in your industry, it automatically boosts how valuable they pictured you in their thoughts. Now, I know what you are thinking. I'm not a celebrity. Why would anybody want to feature me? But here's the truth. Media outlets, podcasts, publications, publications are constantly looking for fresh ideas, perspectives, and expertise to just share with their audience. The key is positioning yourself as a valuable resource rather than someone just looking for exposure. And you don't need to hire a crazy expensive PR firm just to do this. Here's my 3-step process for getting featured in major publications. First, I want you to identify media outlets that your target audience is actually consuming. There's no point in being featured in Forbes if your ideal clients are reading industry-specific publications instead. Second, I want you to develop a unique angle or perspective that adds value to your audience. What insights can you share that you aren't already in common knowledge? And third, build relationships with contributors before just pitching your ideas. No one likes to receive cold pitches from complete strangers. So let me share a specific authority positioning strategy that has worked wonders for all of my clients. So I call it the podcast domination approach. Instead of just trying to get featured in major publications right away, start with industry-specific podcasts. These are often much more accessible and they have highly targeted audiences of potential clients. And first, I want you to create a 20 podcasts for your ideal clients that probably listen to them regularly. Then, craft a compelling pitch focusing on the value that you'll deliver to your listeners with unique insights, stories, or frameworks that you can share that will actually help people. And second, personalize pitches emphasizing why their specific audience would benefit from your expertise. The key here is just consistency. Aim to be featured in at least 2 podcasts every single month, and after 6 months of this strategy, you'll have 12 third-party validations of your expertise. You can then leverage these appearances to secure higher profile opportunities. So I recently helped a client with this exact process to get featured in 3 industry podcasts every single month. And the result was that their income of leads tripled. And they were probably able to increase their prices by about 40% to their enhanced credibility. So the best part was that these new leads were already pre-sold on their expertise because they have heard from them, share valuable insights on the podcast that they trusted, and now they ended up spending 40% more. Another effective authority positioning strategy is to publish a book, even if it's self-published. The perceived credibility of being an author is remarkably high. One of my clients wrote a 100-page book about their methodology, self-published it on Amazon, and saw their conversion rate double almost overnight. And their prospects viewed them differently once they were saying that they were just a published author. So, trust trigger number 3, and arguably the most powerful, is what I call social proof architecture. This means strategically building proof points throughout the entire customer journey, not just on your sales page. Social proof is evidence that others have trusted you and been glad that they did. Most businesses make the mistake of hiding their testimonials on a dedicated page that nobody actually visits, or they have one generic testimonial at the bottom of their homepage, and this is a massive missed opportunity. You need to weave social proof into every single touch point of your customer's experience with you. Think about the typical buyer's journey. They might first discover you through social media, then visit your website, and then perhaps maybe they just download a free resource or join your email list or attend a webinar, whatever you do, and they finally book a sales call, right? Each of these touch points is an opportunity to reinforce your trust through strategic social proof. This includes different types of evidence, case studies for prospects who want detailed proof, video testimonials, emotional impact, screenshots of results, data-driven clients, and social media shout-outs for just quick validation. The key is a variety of strategic placement. For example, if you just include a brief client in your email signature, add testimonial snippets throughout your website, not just on one dedicated page, and share client success stories on social media regularly. Use before and after case studies in your educational content and feature client testimonials in your proposal documents. Each piece builds upon the last just to create an overwhelming sense of trust. No matter where your client is finding you, they're trusting you. So let me share you the exact social proof architecture I recommend. First, I want you to identify the types of social proof that you need. These include testimonials, case studies, client results, statistical evidence, and social validation such as follower counts or engagement. Next, I want you to map your typical customer journey from your first touch point to your purchase. For each touch point, identify what specific doubts or objections might arise at that stage. Then match your social proof to address those specific concerns. For example, early in the journey, people are wondering if your content is even worth their time. So maybe your social media might include short quotes from people who've implemented your free advice and actually gotten results. Just just by watching your videos. In the middle of their journey, they're evaluating whether your approach works for people like them, so your email sequences might include targeted case studies, and late in the journey, they're wondering if your premium offer is even worth the investment, so your sales page would include an in-depth success story and ROI calculations. The most powerful form of social proof is the video testimonial. Seeing a real person share their experience on camera creates an emotional connection that just written testimonials will never ever match. I recommend having at least 3 video testimonials from clients who represent different segments of your target audience. And here's a pro tip. Always capture testimonials at the moment of maximum positive emotion. Don't wait until the end of your program. Ask them for feedback right after a client has experienced a significant win. Their enthusiasm will be genuine and it'll be contagious. Now, beyond these 3 trust triggers, there's something else that separates those who can charge premium prices from those who can't. It's a mindset shift that I call the $10,000 mindset. You see, people who struggle to sell a higher price often have an internal belief that they're not worth it. They undervalue their expertise and feel guilty charging what they're truly worth. This insecurity comes through in subtle ways: their tone, their body language, and their hesitation when even stating their prices. The truth is, if you don't fully believe in the value that you're providing, neither will your potential clients, and there's just no way around this. This isn't about ego or arrogance, it's about an honest assessment of the transformation that you can create for your clients. The $10,000 provider doesn't just hope that they can help. They know they can deliver results because they've done it repeatedly. They've approached sales conversations with confidence, and they view their price as an investment that will generate returns for their clients, not a cost. Think about it. Would you rather hire a surgeon who charges $100 and seems uncertain, or the one that charges $10,000 and exudes absolute confidence in their ability to help you? The price itself becomes a signal of quality. When you charge premium prices, you attract clients who are committed to getting results, which in turn leads to better outcomes and more powerful testimonials. So let me break down the key differences between a $100 provider and a $10,000 provider. The $100 provider focuses on hourly rates and deliverables, what they'll actually do. The $10,000 provider focuses on outcomes and transformation, what the client will get. The $100 provider tries to justify their low price by offering more and more features or hours. The $10,000 provider often offers less in terms of deliverables, but promises and delivers on a specific valuable outcome. The $100 provider apologizes for their price or offers discounts the first sign of resistance. The $10,000 provider stands firm because they know their value and they've had a track record of results. The $100 provider is afraid of losing the sale, and the $10,000 provider is willing to walk away from clients if they just aren't a good fit. The selectivity itself becomes a form of social proof. When you're selective about who you work with, it signals what working with you is a privilege, not a commodity. I worked with a consultant who was one time charging $75 an hour for the marketing service. We repositioned her offering just from Facebook ad management to customer acquisition systems for e-commerce brands. Instead of selling hours, we now sold packages starting at $5,000. And that focused on the specific revenue increases her clients could actually expect. Within 3 months, she was working with fewer clients, earning more money and delivering better results, just because she could focus her energy on clients who were fully committed. So, here's your implementation plan. In the next 30 days, focus on trust trigger number 1, audit your visible credibility across all of your platforms, and reframe your achievements in terms of client results. Update your website and your social media profiles and any other public-facing materials to clearly communicate your specific expertise and the results you've generated. Next, days 31 to 60, implement trust trigger number 2 by securing at least 2 third-party validations, whether that's podcast appearances, guest articles, or speaking engagements. And remember to start with platforms that are accessible to you right now, rather than aiming for the biggest names right off the bat. And then in days 61 to 90, build your social proof architecture just by collecting diverse forms of testimonials and strategically placing them throughout your customer journey. Create a systematic approach to capturing client wins and testimonials at key moments in your working relationship. The key is to implement these triggers in sequence. Each one builds on the last, creating a compounding effect that dramatically increases and accelerates your trust-building efforts. And remember, consistency is completely key here. Not one testimonial will literally not move the needle at all, but a consistent stream of social proof creates an overwhelming case for your expertise. So let me share a real-world example of how these powerful trust triggers can be. One of my clients, Sarah, who was a business coach charging $2,000 for her signature program. She had great results but struggled to fill her roster every single month. She was constantly hustling for new clients and feeling completely undervalued despite the transformation that she was creating for her clients. We implemented these exact 3 trust triggers. So first, we reframed her credentials to focus on the $4.2 million in cumulative revenue she helped generate for her clients. We then created a detailed breakdown of these results and featured it prominently on her website and in her pitches. Second, we were able to get her featured on 3 industry-specific podcasts and publish an article in a major business publication. We leveraged these appearances by creating an audiogram snippets for social media and adding the logos to her website as featured in XYZ. And then third, we built a systematic approach in collecting and showcasing client wins. This created a process for capturing testimonials at key milestones, developed case studies for her 3 most impressive client transformations, and strategically placed the social proof throughout her marketing channels. Within 6 months, Sarah was able to increase her program all the way up to $8,500. She had her roster completely filled out and was creating a wait list for clients for the first time in her business. The best part was that her clients were happier than ever before because they valued what they paid for and showed up more committed to getting results. So now, you might be thinking, but I'm just starting out. I don't actually have results to showcase yet. And here's the truth. Everyone starts somewhere. You don't just get clients' results. Focus on your personal results. If you don't have those either, borrow credibility through associations, mentors, or methodologies that you've studied and adapted, like in books or just studies online. For example, if you're a fitness coach who hasn't worked with clients yet, you can share your own transformational story, like Get Jacked. And if you're a business consultant without these case studies, you can highlight results that you've achieved while working for previous employers without violating any confidentiality agreements, of course. Another common objection is that I'm not comfortable promoting myself in this way. It feels like I'm bragging, and I understand this hesitation completely, but there's a crucial distinction between bragging and clearly communicating your value. Bragging is self-centered and often exaggerated. Properly positioning your expertise is client-centered and factual. You're not doing it to boost your ego, you're doing it so potential clients can make informed decisions about whether or not you can help them. Or perhaps you're thinking, my market is just different, people in my industry are price sensitive. In my expertise, working across dozens of different industries, there is always a segment of every market willing to pay premium prices for premium results. You may need to adjust your targeting to find these clients, but they exist in every single market. The key with all of these objections is to absolute transparency. Never ever fabricate or exaggerate. One lie can destroy years of trust building. Instead, be honest about where you are while demonstrating your deep knowledge and commitment to your client's success. I call the ability to charge significantly more than your competitors the trust premium. And it's all about the most valuable asset in your business because it affects everything from your conversion rates, client results, your referrals, and ultimately to your impact in the world. So when people trust you deeply, they don't just pay you more, they implement your advice more consistently. They refer others more enthusiastically, and they become true advocates for your brand. This creates a virtuous cycle that continues to build your authority over time. So let's just recap real quick. Trust trigger number 1 is visible credibility. This is strategically showcasing your expertise in ways that matter to your audience. Trust trigger number 2 is authority positioning, leveraging third-party platforms to actually validate your expertise. And trust trigger number 3 is social proof architecture, building evidence throughout the entire customer journey. If you just implement these 3 trust triggers consistently, you'll be able to bridge the trust gap completely that's currently costing you probably hundreds, if not thousands of clients and keeping your prices super low. So remember, this isn't about manipulation or marketing tactics. It's about effectively communicating your genuine value so that you can serve the people who need your help the most. If you found this valuable, I've created a free trust trigger assessment that will just help you identify exactly where your trust gaps are and how to fix them. You can download it using the link in the description below, and this assessment will give you all kinds of things, including a personalized score for each trust trigger and specific recommendations for improving your trust signals. So if you're actually serious serious about building a premium priced business, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more strategies on positioning yourself as the go-to authority in your industry. In my next video, I'll be sharing the exact email sequences that we use to help one of our clients go from 0 to 30 high-ticket sales in just 45 days. So thanks for watching, and remember, in a world full of skepticism, trust isn't just nice to have, it's the foundation for a thriving business and a premium business. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.